Welcome in to another episode of Building the Pride. I am your host, Drew, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, my remote co-host, Mike. Mike, how are you?
Just as handsome as ever, Drew. How about yourself?
You know, you look shockingly the same when you're in Michigan and or Florida, you know?
Yeah, you got better weather than we do down here. It's rained and stormed most of the day, probably 6 hours a day every day. So the summers in Florida are not quite cracked up what they're cracked up to. I don't know. They're not that good.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Let's see. So we do have some scattered thunderstorms in the forecast for tomorrow, but not 6 hours worth. So
it's been every day here so far.
We're doing our best imitation of you guys, apparently. So
yeah. So before we start out, we got a couple new subscribers. It doesn't look like they shared their names. We got a couple new subscribers. I have a feeling it is the guys that replaced our windows back up in Kalamazoo at All Weather Seal, I think. They were great though. They did a great job, and big Lions fans. So it was probably those guys. They said that they watched last week. So hopefully, if they're watching this week, hey guys, appreciate your work. And yeah, that's it for the new subscriber shout outs.
Excellent. It's always nice to have new people.
Yeah, had it like sunny at 82 here in LA. Ugh, sounds terrible. I'd hate to be in the sun. I like that overcast really does it for me.
Yeah. Way too much ice though in LA, I've heard this time of year. So that's a joke that a buddy of mine who also lives out in LA have been kicking back and forth recently. So
yeah,
it's hilarious.
Too much ice in the drinks.
On the streets, I think. So
I period C period E.
You got it. It's a deep joke. It's layers.
It was deeper than I ever thought would have come from.
Never possible. Yeah. Well, Mike, normally we do a segment called News and Notes and Around the NFL, and I think this is the perfect time for that segment. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we have a slew of contract extensions, whereas last week we had nothing. Now we have multiple things to talk about. And let's start off with Garrett Wilson of the New York Jets becoming the highest paid wide receiver. And I also believe, if I saw this correctly, the biggest contract given to a NFL player after 3 years in league history.
Wow. Congratulations, Garrett.
Yep. So 4 years, $130 million. We don't have the breakdown of what the contract looks like yet. Let's see. This marks the first time in NFL history that a receiver has received an average over $31 million after only playing 3 seasons. So it's a receiver position first, I guess is the way to say it. The $32.5 million average in his new deal is 5th highest among NFL wide receivers, which I have a hard time. I got over the cap up right now, but I have a hard time believing that 32.5. It must mean something other than AAV. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Jamar Chase got 40. Justin Jefferson got 35. CeeDee Lamb got 34. And then DK Metcalf got 32.9.
999.
Yeah, some ridiculous breakdown.
We're not giving you 33.
So
you have to give us $118 back.
That's ridiculous. A year. Ridiculous.
Yeah, per year you need to give us $118 back.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. So he's now the 5th highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. And I think this is wonderful example of you're the next guy up, and I don't think that he's necessarily in the Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb. He might be better than DK Metcalf at this point. But he has had terrible quarterback play his entire time that he's been in New York. And he has still come up with some of the most jaw-dropping catches that I have ever seen. Like, it seems like this guy has 1 or 2 catches a year that just literally make you sit up and just forget about your fandom for a second and just be like, oh, that is amazing what that guy just did. So, like, yet another wide receiver in the long line of Ohio State wide receivers that would have gone high up in the first round. And this kid's probably worth it. Like, as a cornerstone of the New York Jets, this kid is probably their best offensive player. So I think it makes a lot of sense.
Nice. That's a lot of money. And you need a cornerstone on offense, because this is an offense league. You can't skimp out. You can't let those kind of guys walk. So hopefully he keeps producing.
Yeah, I would hope so. Who is the Jets? Oh, it's Justin Fields, right? Is their quarterback this year, at least?
I think so. Yeah, because it was Rodgers. I think Rodgers and Fields swapped teams, right? Because Rodgers is in Pittsburgh now, and Fields went from Pittsburgh to New York.
Free agency trade. Well, not to be outdone, the New York Jets again extended one of their defensive players, Sauce Gardner, with what the headline here says 4-year, $120.4 million extension. So $30.1 million AAV, almost $86 million in guarantees. So
saucy.
Arguably one of the best corners in the NFL, had an amazing rookie season, not quite as good sophomore campaign. But I mean, this is definitely a guy that I'm not going to be like, well, no, let's quibble about whether or not we want him on the team. You very clearly want him on the team.
Right.
So makes a lot of sense for the Jets. So these are 2 massive contracts, both $30+ million a year on average players. The actual format of the contracts probably looks way different, but 2 of their young core they've now locked up, right? So head coaching changed, signed the best offensive and maybe the best defensive player on their team other than Quinnen Williams. I don't know. It makes a lot of sense.
You get those cornerstones. Yep. You need to have the pillars of your team. I mean, the Rams did that a few years ago with Stafford, Kupp, and Donald, although Donald ended up retiring. The Lions have done that with Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, right? So, like, you have to have the pillars. If you don't have a good, solid foundation, elite foundation, you're not going to be good. You can't build an elite team with a mediocre foundation.
And not to be outdone, so I think some of the reason why I don't think either of those 2 guys were tagged, but one guy that was tagged was Chiefs guard Trey Smith, who they got for a steal because I believe his medical history allowed him to slip to like the 5th round, and they picked him up for like nothing. And he quickly became one of the best guards in the NFL on a rookie deal that paid him nothing. And now he has signed a 4-year, $94 million deal. So what is that? 20, and then 4 goes into 14 3 times. So 23 and change, with 70 million of the 94 guaranteed. It's the most guaranteed money ever awarded to a guard. So he's 26. So this will take him. I imagine this takes him to his year 31 season, and he comes off the tag. So now the Chiefs traded the other really good guard on their roster to the Bears, and Creed Humphrey is their center, who I believe is the highest paid center in the NFL. And then they drafted that kid from Ohio State in the first round. So they're making pretty big investments in their offensive line. I can't believe I can't remember the name of that guy from the Bears.
So disappointed, Drew. So disappointed.
Wow.
How do you not know every single player in every transaction?
I'm trying, dude. I got a new job. It's hard. My brain hurts. Oh, I'll see if I can find him here. Let's see. Joe Thuney.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm terrible at names, so it's never going to be me figuring it out.
So, I mean, the most guaranteed money, 20 plus, under 25, but 20 plus million for a guard. He's one of the best guards in the NFL. It's hard to, when you're one of the best in the NFL at any position group, it's hard to say that the money, top flight money that you're paying out for that player isn't worth it. Right. But then, we've talked about position. What is that called?
Positional value.
Thank you so much. Thank you
that
so
I
much.
Can get.
Yeah. It's not a name, right? Yeah. We've talked about positional value a bunch on the show, and positional value would say don't spend your money here, but one thing that the positional value approach doesn't really talk about is, if you hit on a guy who is at the top of the league at his respective position, what they really mean is don't spend that much for average players.
Yes.
When it comes to position.
Free agency scrubs.
Right. But if you are, Penny, different position, obviously. Penny Sewell's a right tackle. It's a highly valued position. Trey Smith,
linebacker,
another traditionally so the Lions, to bring this back, they paid Kirby Joseph, right? But Kirby Joseph's deal is very weird. I don't even know that he doesn't make much more than $10 million a year against the cap while he's on the team. And then the first year of the first void year of the extension, they pay him the overwhelming majority of the contract's total value, so I'm very curious to see what that looks like in 5 years, whether or not they're just going to write him a check, whether or not he's on the team for the majority of the contract, or if they're going to find a way, he'll be in his age 31 or 32 season at that point. He's 26, isn't he? So, if they extend him again into his mid 30s, probably like a 2-3 year deal, that'll allow them to at least stretch out that first void year, and then, so what do you think? So do you want Kirby Joseph on a deal that would have you could either write him a huge number in the first year that he's not on the team, right, or if he's still valuable, you extend him for another couple years, and now you've taken that 36 million or whatever it would be, and you've stretched it out twice, once over the original extension, and then kick the void year down the road on the baby extension after it. And then the cap has had a chance to go up 5 times, 6 times. Is writing a check for, let's just say it goes down to $30 million the first year that he's no longer actually on the team. $30 million 6 years from now. If the cap went up $15 million each year.
Yeah. He's going to be costing us a smaller percentage of the cap doing it the down the road way.
Right. So, if we look at that and say Kirby Joseph's the highest paid safety in the NFL per AAV, which is not true based upon his cap number, right? If you look at everybody's cap number, he's nowhere near to number one.
Right.
And then the goal is to either, even if he's got this year and then this extension kicks in, which is for 4 years. So 5 years, if the cap goes up conservatively $15 million a year, it's going to go up $75 million by the time they have to pay him that first year of the void year. And by that point, what is the value of $1 today compared to 5 years from now. Like
depends on how many Super Bowls we win between now and then, right?
I hope we win 1 or 2. That'd be nice.
Get a ring or two, and every dollar that you spent later that you didn't spend now is worth it.
If they won, I don't know what the money coming into the bottom line looks like when you win a Super Bowl for like the organization. Like, I don't know, like, it's like, we'll happily write a $30 million check now. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, we can totally cover it. I don't
probably get that
know.
in jersey sales just from winning it, or the Super Bowl T-shirt sales, licensing.
I'm sure everything goes way up. Like, I just wonder how much up it is. In Detroit too, like, if the Miami Dolphins are like let's say the Los Angeles Chargers, right? Like the Los Angeles Chargers, nice team, new stadium, they don't fill it.
Not with their own fans,
right? And so it's like, but like when you see like the fan base in Detroit, like selling out the like standing room only in the draft, 250,000 people, on the street, just packed shoulder to shoulder, like traveling to all these other stadiums and like negating or diminishing home field advantage for those teams. Like, I think that if the Detroit Lions win a Super Bowl, that bottom line gets affected more than it would other teams winning that same Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I just would be super curious.
And when that happens, I don't care what day it is. I will be at the Super Bowl parade.
Sure. It'd be a big event.
It would be. I went to 2 Stanley Cup parades for the Red Wings, 2002 and 2008, and they were so much fun. It was such a great atmosphere. I wish I was there in '97, the first year they'd won it. That was the first year they'd won it in 52 years, I think. So that would have been pretty great. But 2002, 2008, they were just amazing environments. I can't imagine what a Lions Super Bowl parade would be like. I think it would honestly blow away the '97 Red Wings Stanley Cup parade. I mean, that was 52 years. This is 70 since it's almost 70 years since the Lions won a championship. So that'll be a ton of fun. I can't wait for it, Drew. I'm hoping it's going to be just a mere 8 months from now, or however many it is.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be great.
I did find a couple more, I guess really one more news and notes around the NFL. I know you talked a little bit about Terry McLaurin, and I think we're going to talk maybe a little bit about the second round draft picks and their signings and stuff. So kind of going in to segue into that, Terry McLaurin is one of those guys saying he's very frustrated over his contract talks. He's unsure if he's going to report to training camp. It's not us. Don't really care if he shows up or not. But I figured that was an interesting way to segue into kind of talking about the second round draft choices and their seeming inability to sign contracts for whatever reason this year.
Okay.
Well, have you seen much about that?
Yeah, the problem is that two of the class got fully guaranteed deals as second round picks, which the money for a second round pick is not a ton. It falls off really sharply after you get out of the top 15 of the NFL draft. So a couple of those guys, and I don't know who they are, got fully guaranteed deals. And the agents of the other 30 were like, oh, we're going to do fully guaranteed deals. My client wants one. So we have 30 of 32 second round picks in this year's draft who have not signed contracts yet because they all want fully guaranteed deals, which of course the NFL doesn't want to do, because now every second round pick forever will want a fully guaranteed deal. This is the Deshaun Watson problem in miniature.
Yeah.
Which led to a whole nother story about the NFL and the NFLPA colluding to not hand out fully guaranteed contracts and then keeping that information from the players in recent weeks. So, I mean, like, it's very so like if when the CBA comes up for renewal and they actually have to negotiate new things into the CBA, this is going to be a big deal for the NFL that the NFL wants to push. Is they do not want fully guaranteed deals. They don't want them for, at the time, premier quarterbacks who are entering the trade market. They don't want them for second round picks. They don't want them. Like, if you're an owner in the NFL and you're like, no, go ahead and sign our second round pick to a fully guaranteed deal, you have to know what you are going to be doing to the rest of the NFL. So is this just like, no, we'll do this and create this huge problem for everybody else, but our guys will be signed, so we're okay? So I don't know. But the CBA has done such a wonderful job of like preventing holdouts and not having like rookie contract shit be a huge distraction. And like, even with like the slim number of things that you can still negotiate on, timing of payments, how much money up front, that kind of stuff, ownership, GMs, and agents have still found a way to basically reach an impasse on this kind of like minutia that shouldn't cause a problem.
Yeah, and I've read that the second round draft choices that are unsigned, Tate Ratledge, by the way, is one of those guys. We have not signed him. He's in that group.
Sure.
I've read that they are looking at joining together in such a way, almost like a union, a sub union of sorts, where they're going to band together and try to get NHLPA and FLPA representation to solve this thing. And I'm just like, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
There's so little negotiate. Why is this such a big deal?
I don't know. Like, this harkens back to the same kind of thing that the Bengals with Shamar Stewart are involved in currently, which I've talked about multiple times because it's just so unbelievably stupid. When it comes to your first round picks, just give them, if you did something last year for your first round pick last year, do the same goddamn thing for your first round pick this year. They know what you did.
Yeah.
It's a matter of public record. Like, don't do it this year if you don't want to do it next year, because that's what the guy's going to ask for if you give him mouse a cookie.
So
and then
give him mouse a cookie.
I mean, that's exactly what it is.
It is, yeah. So I don't know how the other sports CBAs do it. I don't know. Baseball, there is no real salary cap in baseball.
There's
right?
there's no salary cap at all.
No, there's like some sort of luxury tax or whatever when they hit certain thresholds. But
it's a luxury tax. It's not a
correct.
salary
Which means
cap.
if you've got enough money, you just have to budget in 50% more or whatever.
The Dodgers do it every year. So
the Dodgers, the Yankees, the big market teams do that all the time, and surprisingly, they're the ones that always tend to have the good, the better teams. I don't know about basketball. Hockey has fully guaranteed contracts. Every contract is fully guaranteed. No ifs, ands, or buts. There's no negotiating it. It just is what it is. And I'm curious if the NFL went to something like that. Do we solve some of these problems? And does it bring in other problems of like, all right, well, let's take a look at these actual contracts. If it's going to be fully guaranteed, I'm not giving you 53 a year. Let's drop that down a touch. Like, does it change the economics of the contracts that are being offered?
No. So the NFL is the sports league in America that makes the most money, and it is not being competed with by any other sports organization in the United States of America. So they are the precedent centers, right? And outside of a couple of things, like what we have been talking about is obviously one of them. Like, the CBA that they have come up with is a work of art. It's a work of art. As far as like, everyone always wants more money, but like the league grows ridiculous amounts every year, both domestically and abroad. And it's basic. I've heard it described as like the NFL is Fort Knox. It's like the U.S. Treasury Department. Like, it's a license to print money. So if you are an owner in the NFL, every year, whether you're the Dallas Cowboys or the Carolina Panthers, like your team becomes more valuable just because it exists. It appreciates in value every year. Owners, check. The league gets ridiculous contracts to broadcast their product on a myriad of different networks. So the
league dollars a year.
Yeah, billions.
Like billion.
Billions. Yeah, billions. Yeah. So like the league itself, not just the owners, but the league that the owners create makes money hand over fist every year. League, check. So because that money goes up and because there's this contract between the union, which represents the players, and then, of course, the owners, which represent the league, they have a way to share money. Players, check. And so every year, that the money keeps going up like this, everyone wins. No one loses in this setup. I mean, like you can make the argument from both sides why each side would want more of a bigger slice of the pie, but the pie is so goddamn big that everybody's getting a full meal off their fucking slice of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I would shut the fuck up and just continue to make ridiculous gobs of money. Everybody. Like,
yeah.
And I understand that, like, these kids that are coming in, like these second round picks, some of them made a lot of money in NIL, and like the face of college football has changed to where some of them are taking pay cuts, and so like a fully guaranteed deal sounds pretty good because now you don't have to worry about like getting to that next contract to exceed what you were making in college. They're going to lose. Like, if the NFL talked to the head of the NFLPA or one of their top brass and basically said, do not do fully guaranteed deals anymore. We will, this is something like, they basically said, like, this is something we'll fight over. So let's not fight over it.
Right.
Like, let's handle this before we have to get to the negotiating table. And people have the potential, like, if you get to the negotiating table, this glorious house of cards that they've created with their CBA could all go poof, goodbye. Like, who knows? Like, we could see another holdout, which doesn't make any sense because it's once again such a good collective bargaining agreement. Like, the NFL has figured this shit out.
Yes. I mean, from the player's perspective, though, they want guaranteed contracts, right? They want to make sure that they get paid what's written on that piece of paper when they sign it.
Yep.
And they put a lot of risk into what they're doing, and to put that much risk into a thing that you're not guaranteed to get money out of, I can see them pushing toward more guaranteed contracts or something that ensures maybe a higher percentage of guarantee or more likeliness, or I don't know. I can see them wanting to go that way. The owners, obviously, they don't want to, right? They don't want to guarantee shit. Like, hey, if you get hurt, that's a real bummer, but I'm not going to pay you if you're not stepping on the field. So there's going to be some push and pull there. And I think that's probably going to be one of the very few things they actually negotiate, other than maybe that 18th game that they keep talking about.
I mean,
where it's more wear and tear and likely to injury, and if you're going to make me play an 18th game and I'm more likely to get injured, like I want more guarantees on my salary. So I think if they go 18 games, I wouldn't be surprised if you see more guaranteed contracts because of it.
If the NFL, if the NFL gets an 18th game and are willing to, if you're going to guarantee every contract in the second round, the first round, people in the first round that get picked, they're holding up the CBA next.
No, I'm saying guaranteed contracts, not just from a draftee standpoint. I think you're going to find more fully guaranteed and other kinds of contracts. Not just from the draftees.
I don't think so. I mean, like, so the reason why the NFL does not want fully guaranteed deals is look at what the Deshaun Watson contract has done to one of their franchises. So, like, the problem from the NFL side of things with a fully guaranteed deal is that the players who have the most leverage are going to demand them. And then if those players are hurt or don't perform or whatever, then what happened to Cleveland could happen to a really high profile team that the NFL desperately wants on television. So like I think that the NFL will fight back exceptionally hard, and they're already doing it behind the scenes apparently with the NFLPA, apparently in lockstep with the NFLPA, because the story that got leaked here a week or so ago was the NFLPA is working with the NFL to mitigate those contracts, because I think it's detrimental to the players to get more guaranteed deals, because first of all, we're talking about the people that can get them are like the top 1 or 2% of the players in the league. And the NFLPA has the same responsibility to the 53rd dude on the roster that they do to the first guy on the roster. So if you do guaranteed deals or push that agenda, two things are going to happen. Players are going to make less because you're getting every single dollar.
Right.
So contract numbers go down. Bad for the players. And the more people that can demand a fully guaranteed deal, the more it hurts the back end of the roster. So the NFLPA cannot legally, I don't believe, negotiate in good faith for a contract or a CBA that knowingly does more damage to some of the players than it does to others.
Right.
So like even in a league where it's like, okay, we all know that like your quarterback's probably going to be making the most money on your team just because of like the position that he plays or whatever. And, you know, that's not the same money that the long snapper is getting, you know, or what have you. But like the league has to negotiate in good faith so that like those two players are roughly treated the same way in process, if not in outcome, you know? So like if you allow fully guaranteed deals to do that, then like you have a subset of players who can demand them and a subset of players who simply cannot. And like while that's true in like the current CBA and the hypothetical one that we're kind of discussing, like in one of those two things, it's in the wording is in the contract, is in the CBA. And once that happens, now you're treating players differently. So I think that the second round picks are going to lose their fight to get fully guaranteed deals, and that there will be some accommodation to like, let's go practice or whatever. Like, let's figure this shit out. Like, or like, we'll throw you this little itty bitty thing in order for you to just be like, okay, we'll go and play under our deals. And we promise to talk about it at the next negotiating session or whatever.
Right.
You know, but like, there's no way that this kind of like rounds holdout hoping for fully guaranteed deals because two dudes got them.
Right.
Is gonna affect like there's no way that the NFL is going to allow this rock to start rolling downhill.
Yeah.
So,
especially not over second round draft picks.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like good players, but you guys don't have the kind of push that you guys think that you have right now, you know? So even if it's all of you together, I mean, one of them's already been arrested, you know, and like, you know, if one or two of them gets hurt, like the erosion can happen pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So like I would tell them to sign their fucking contracts and get into rookie camp. So
yeah, I did double check. The NHL does have guaranteed contracts, but only they said roughly 98% of NHL contracts will be paid in full, so not 100%, because they do have some exceptions. They've got you can buy out a contract. So if someone is not doing what they need to do, you can actually buy out the contract. And the payout is 2/3 of the remaining base salary, spread over the twice the years left. So basically, spread that cap out over 4 years if you're buying out the last 2 years, kind of thing. So There is a potential thing for a buyout. There's material breach termination. So if you really F up as a player, You can do that. So there are a couple outs for teams to get out of that Deshaun Watson like contract, but everything else is going to be guaranteed.
So, just as a quick update, I have seen that Shamar Stewart from the Bengals is back at his alma mater, Texas A&M, working out. And the scuttlebutt is that he's going to petition the NCAA to re-enroll and get a year of eligibility back, which would be a first that I've ever heard of as a player who has been drafted re-enrolling in college. But
and getting eligibility to play, that's the big
that
thing.
would be that would. Right. So I believe he came out as like a redshirt junior. So I believe he technically has eligibility remaining if he as someone would if they entered college. But I guess my question would be then, if you decide to go pro, do you sacrifice any remaining eligibility?
You're supposed to, and that was part of. I don't know if you remember who was the Ohio State running back that wanted Maurice Clarett. He filed for the draft.
That's right.
I was like, bro, you have to be 2 years out of high school. You can't do that after your freshman year. And then he tried to go back, and they're like, nah, sorry, man. You can't go back once you file. So I don't know if they've changed the rules since then. God knows with NIL and portal and all the other nonsense that they do in college football, they might have changed that rule as well. But last I knew, once you file to go pro, you are done. You have signed away any future NCAA eligibility.
See, I'm used to seeing every year there's a couple of kids that sue the NCAA trying to get another year of eligibility, and
because they need an eighth.
I mean, that's not a joke. There are some dudes that I've seen who have had 7+ maybe years of college eligibility.
Yeah.
But this would be
year and your COVID year and your second COVID year, and then your injury deferred year, and
oh, it's crazy. So, but I think this would be a precedent setter. If you are unhappy effectively with where you got drafted or the contract that you were, quote unquote, going to sign, and you get into a contract disagreement, being able to just sue or having a revolving door that allows you back into college football would be a super negative for the NFL and the NFL draft, which is one of their biggest
NFL can't let that happen.
No. So, I mean, I
thought it was bad when Eli Manning, knowing he was going to go number 1 overall, was like, I'm not going to play for you. You guys suck too bad. And then and to have that thing happen for anybody, like Eli Manning, when you're the number 1 overall pick, you've got a lot of sway, right, in what you can and can't do, especially back then. And right now, everything, contracts are essentially pre-created for every slot and everything else. They do not want to go back to what if everybody was an Eli Manning. No, that they can't let that happen.
No, I would be unbelievably shocked if he's allowed to college football.
On to some Detroit Lions news.
Yeah, it's been 30 minutes.
Yeah. So, congratulations to the Goffs. They welcomed little baby Romy Isabel Goff, little one there. So congratulations to Jared and Kristen on your new bundle of joy and sleepless nights.
Yeah. Just what you want in a year where you want to go to Super Bowl is your quarterback basically not getting any sleep. So,
right. Oh man, can we get some extra road games this year so I can stay out of the house and away from the crying baby?
I mean, I watched the first episode of that quarterback show on Netflix.
I've only watched one as well.
His wife is an absolute 10. She is a stunner.
She was a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, so that they usually don't take people under 10s.
No. So. It is kind of hard to focus when she's on the TV. So she's
she seems like a real sweetheart too. Not one of the stuck up, I know I'm pretty kind of people. She seemed really down to earth and really sweet.
And
So, yeah, congrats to Jared Goff.
Oh, God, so small.
I know, right? Like, it's smaller than a football. So
yeah. Oh, God.
I hope that's her hand. Yes.
Oh, it's definitely her hand. So,
the
awesome.
other Jared Goff news, the NFL executives, coaches, and scouts ranked their top 10 NFL quarterbacks, and our boy is in the top 10. They got Mahomes at number 1, Allen at 2, Burrow at 3, Lamar. To me, the shocker was Jaden Daniels. I didn't think he would be that high that quick. But to me, that looks like the top 10 I would pick. Maybe not in that order. We talked last week about people that we slide into different slots. But I mean, this seems like probably the right top 10. What are your thoughts on the top 10?
I'm looking at just a list of quarterbacks right off the top, just by money, but I'm looking more basically for like a list of names.
Yeah.
And like, I'm having a hard time, I think, making a case for a different top 10 or a
Jordan Love is notably could Love be in there instead of Baker Mayfield?
For example? I guess I think I'd rather have Baker Mayfield, to be honest, but like,
I probably would too. We'll see what Love does this year, right? But
yeah, and to your point about Jaden Daniels, like, he was a rookie, right? Yeah. So anytime that someone says a rookie is
a top 5 in the NFL, yeah, CJ Stroud would have been on that a year ago.
Correct. Yes,
for
exactly.
Example. And he's not on there now.
Correct. Exactly. So, but if we look at the seasons that these 10 guys had last year, he's probably worth including. And like, the difference between him and the other 9 guys on this list is the other 9 guys have demonstrated, for multiple years, we can continue to have those kinds of seasons. Like, that's our bar, right? Yeah. That's our standard of consistency. And that's the one thing that Jaden hasn't proven yet. He's proven that, like, I can hit that level. Can I be consistent hitting that level? That's what's going to put him in this list year over year for however long, right? But I don't think I have a problem with the people being included on this list. And we could always move one guy up one, move one guy down one, 2 or 3, whoever knows. But like, I think these are the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Yeah. And I think that the top 4 to me are the top 4. I mean, you can, slide puzzle, move them around a little bit, but I think those are the elite of the elite. I think 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Basically, I'd say 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are kind of the next tier. Although until he does it a second time, I'd put Jaden Daniels at the end of that list. But like Stafford, Herbert, Goff, Hurts, that is to me the next group of people. Probably in that order. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at that. I think probably in that order. Although I'd probably maybe drop Jaden Daniels to 9 if everybody moved up a slot. But yeah, I saw that. I'm like, I think this is. You see all these like top 10 lists and stuff, and I'm like, half the time there's somebody in there that you just have to talk about. That's why they do it. I think this is a pretty damn good list of 10.
Yeah,
I can't really have too many complaints.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head here. This is. Whether or not they all, I think the top 4 guys are going to be the top 4 guys at the end of the year, and then like 5 through 10 could be, who knows, CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, they might crash the party. Who knows? Maybe Geno Smith has a great year, this best year of his career in year 1 in Oakland, and he, sneaks into the top 10 or something like that. Who does he bump out? But
notably absent in that scenario is Sam Darnold. Right. He had a great year last year.
He had a great year. Yeah, he's just he's still Sam Darnold, though.
I think injuries happen. The team around you, matters as well. When you have guys that drop the ball, or if you've got injuries on your offensive line or wide receivers, Like, it doesn't matter how good you are if the guys can't catch or your skill position players get hurt, right? So
Right.
a lot of that will be health related, not just for themselves, but those around them. A couple other things I want to note. Jahmyr Gibbs was interviewed, and they said that he was going to be being split out way more this year. So he's learning some more of those formations where he's split out wide. I'm up for it. Like, the dude can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's exciting to watch. If you can get those split outs and slot receivery types of things in there and still have Monty in the background, I think it makes our offense even more dynamic. So this was what we were promised 2 years ago, and we never really saw it each of the last 2 years. I'm up for it.
Yeah, if this is, we view him as an offensive weapon kind of a move, then yeah, I would be interested to see what the Lions look like running 21 offense, which is 2 running backs in the backfield, So like, he is effectively, he is a version of Christian McCaffrey, right? So he's as much a wide receiver as he is a running back. And okay, if you're a defense, like, let's just think about the Bears, Vikings, and Packers, right? Do you have a linebacker that can cover Jahmyr Gibbs?
No, not with his speed.
Right. So if you split him out, like say in the slot or even out wide past like Amon-Ra St. Brown, like, or if you put him on the other side of Amon-Ra St. Brown or whatever, and you still have David Montgomery in the backfield, what do you do? Like, what are you supposed to do? I mean, like,
you guess and you hope that you're right.
Right. This is the kind of matchup that, like, I think will deter, like, when the reason, like, I'm like, oh, I think the Lions can win another 15 games this season is shit like this, because, like, tell me what the plan is. So if the other teams in the NFL North who see the Detroit Lions as twice as much as every other team, and if you what are they supposed to do? I mean, like, if you cover him with a corner, then you've got a fifth corner, you're in nickel. Run the ball with David Montgomery. Just check to a run. What are they going to do then?
Yeah.
And if you leave a third linebacker in because you don't want the ball to be run on you, he's going to beat the linebacker that you put on him. There's maybe 2 linebackers in the entire NFL that have a hell of a chance against somebody like him, being lined up out wide. And then, like, Jared Goff he's not going to run a 9 route. Like, he's going to run something that's profitable for Jared Goff. So, I mean, like...
And the crazy thing is, he could run a 9 route, but no one's going to be able to keep up with him. And B, once he gets more than 10 yards downfield, they're going to assume that it's not going to him.
And imagine if you've got J-Mo on one side and him on the other, and you start to run motion.
Not even fair.
I mean, like, oh, I can jet sweep from either way? Fuck off. I mean, like, come on.
Like,
I mean, like,
I'll jet sweep both ways, and then you don't even know what you're going to do.
I mean, that has to be the trying to figure out how to play the Detroit Lions. If they line up something like J-Mo, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, which are our 5 best offensive players outside of a quarterback.
Yep.
It's also all of our skill position players. But, like, if you line all those guys up on the field right now, like, what are you supposed to do? I mean, like, the NFL is a league of innovation and adaptation. And if the Lions make 21 personnel, a staple of their offense, or even if they run it like just like, a quarter of the time or whatever, like, I don't know what you do. You run zone? That's no good. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to absolutely slaughter your zone. That's the best
part of it, right? If you start doing that kind of stuff, or if you're trying to bring a linebacker or safety down deeper to, plug the box a little bit to stop that, all of a sudden St. Brown has so much more room to work. Tim Patrick has room to work. J-Mo can cut the top off. Tesla can cut in this. Like, I think we're going to be – that actually segues really well into – and I don't remember who did this. Gennaro Felice from NFL predicted his top 10 offenses in 2025, and they have us at number 1. And I think it's exactly because of the stuff you're talking about. You can't stop us. We can stop us, and that's it, right?
If the Detroit Lions score 32 points in all 17 games, they will not lose a game. all season.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to give up 32 points in any particular game.
The average NFL, like week to week, is like something like 23 or 24 points. You're telling me the Lions are effectively a full score being predicted to average a full score above league average? You have any idea? That's not just like, oh, they're beating guys 21-14. That's not what that means. You know, like it is an unbelievable. That's an unbelievable gap.
544 points in a season.
There's no way.
I don't exactly know what I can look that up while we're talking, but 544 points in the season has got to be real close to the NFL record. Most points scored in NFL season. What are the highest scoring offenses in history? The Broncos scored 606 points in 2013. Wow.
So you're on
pace.
They
had one less game, too, so that's kind of crazy.
Sure.
But
that is insane.
Last year's Lions is the fourth highest scoring team in history, 564 points. And I think we can be better.
Yeah. You know, like, so I think one of the arguments that like hasn't been discussed much, maybe it's being discussed now by NFL.com is, so the Lions didn't go out and have the kind of like splashy off season where they brought in like a quote unquote a bunch of new guys, right?
Right. Didn't need to.
Yeah. Right. Didn't need to. But what happens if you use the guys that you have on the field differently? So now like Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown completely own the 0 to 15 yard center of the field. JMO is your speedster. He can take the top off. They love running him.
Crossing routes too, right? Getting open.
Which I think is where that level pass like Laporta and St. Brown. If you can get him running a post or a cut, something like that.
That's where Tyreek made his money. He wasn't always on 9 routes, right? He would cut across the center, and he would get him 12 yards down the field right after he turned, but he had beaten the guy, and then he was gone.
Yeah. If you use JMO like prime Tyreek, they're not the same, but like if you use them similarly, I think that the results will be similar as well. You know, and then after all of that, you go like, oh, we will line up our half wide receiver, mostly running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, on the best matchup that we can find on the field when they're in man. And if they're in zone, we're just going to run the ball with David Montgomery behind, which I know we got some turnover there finally this year, but like a world-class offensive line, like you can still just run the ball behind Penei Sewell, and that's not a bad plan. You know, I mean, like, come on. So I look at this offense, and I think and Jared Goff talked about this in like episode 1 of the quarterback show this season, is that like he said something to the effect of like, I just have to limit the mistakes, you know, and if that's the version of Jared Goff, he doesn't need to throw for 200 yards a game. He can, but if he doesn't, we're winning all of those games because he's limiting the mistakes that he's making. You know, like it's the it's the best quality about him is when he limits those mistakes.
And I stand corrected. The top list was the offenses where they ended last year. We were the highest scoring offense last year. This is where they've got us ranked this year. They've got us preseason rank at number 5, primarily because we lost Kevin Zeitler, Frank Ragnow retired, we lost Ben Johnson. There's some questions around, you know, continuity and that kind of stuff, which are legitimate questions. I get why you would say, all right, how are they going to react? And I would say, what does history tell you with this coaching staff and this general set of players? I think they're going to react fine.
Yeah. Where I work now, there's lots and lots of Lions fans. And to be honest, they sound more like you and me discussing them than they do like the average person I used to talk to about the Lions.
Yeah.
And there's still
Nice.
a bunch of trepidation, about like, what if, and I'm like, I think that they're going to be fine, everybody. Like, I think it's okay to like be happy about the success and like what they're going to be able to do. Like, this isn't a 500 ball club anymore, because you lose your center and your right guard, So
Yep.
good players, loved having them, but like I also don't think it means they're going to lose 5 more games or whatever. So,
And then so that was what he had done in June for offense. In July, he just released his top 10 defenses, and we are projected at 8, or maybe that's where we were last year. Yeah, that's where we were last year. They've got us this year at 6, probably because we are going to get everybody back. We had 19 guys on the defensive side of the ball that were on IR. So I feel like that was a pretty good write up here, by the way. But getting those guys back is going to take us from essentially a 9th best, or what was it, 8th best, all the way up to anywhere. I think they're going to be top 5, assuming health, obviously. But like, I don't see why an 8th best overall last year, getting even a half a dozen of those guys back isn't going to make a bigger than a 2-point jump.
If the Detroit Lions finish this upcoming season with the 5th best offense and the 9th best defense, that's a Super Bowl team. That's an absolute monster of a team. So,
Yep.
Getting Aiden, I mean, I think this season's going to line up really well for the defense. Obviously we are down Aleem McNeil.
Yep.
I'm guessing most of the season, the overwhelming majority of the season.
Means he's going to be fresh for the playoffs, baby.
Right. But you're getting Aiden Hutchinson back, and I would make that trade 10 out of 10 times. So,
yeah, especially since you got DJ Reader in the middle, and we just grabbed Tyleik Williams to like fill in that gap while he's gone.
And like one thing that we haven't talked much about is like Levi and Onwuzurike last year had his best year as a pro.
Yeah.
And I think he's probably the starter at 3 technique for most of the season, opposite DJ Reader, and then when Tyleik comes in to replace Reader. And like what if, Onwuzurike is healthy? What if Marcus Davenport, you get 12 games out of Marcus Davenport? Like that would be awesome.
Yep.
What if Ahmad Hassan is really good?
Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you sign Zadarius Smith and you have him for 3rd and long?
The games that Davenport doesn't make.
Yeah, or whatever. Like what if the defense is allowed to function the way it was designed? Because it couldn't last year because of the injuries. Like you can't, like, it's just like you have to throw the playbook out and you have to create a new playbook based upon who you have available. And like, what if they just have their playbook available?
Yeah, I think it's going to be solid. I think 6 is potentially too low, which is not a luxury we've had. I mean, obviously we had 1 year as a good defense during the Stafford years. We were number 2 overall. We had Ndamukong Suh. He left the year after that. And our defense was terrible. And we were terrible for the last 10 years. In the last 2 years, we've been good off seasons, both in the draft side of things and free agency. And we get to boast a top 5 defense this year and a top 5 offense. And that is, as you said, when you get top 5 and top 5, there's a good chance you're going to be in a championship game and a Super Bowl or a Super Bowl.
If they have a top 5 defense against the murderer's row of their schedule that they have this year, then they are beating those teams. And then they're the number 1. I mean, like if they finish 5-5 on both sides of the ball, they're the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, regardless of record, for that matter. Because they got the hardest schedule in the league.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, like for the last couple of years I've been, and I know we're going to go here in a second, but like for the last couple of years, like I've always had like a litmus game kind of circled on my calendar.
Yeah.
And the last couple of years it's against the Buffalo Bills, and so this year we don't play the Bills, but we play the Chiefs and the Ravens and some teams that have like beat
Philly,
beat us up,
Washington,
a little bit. So like, or beat us in
Cincy.
the playoffs. So like, plus you've got the division, and every team in the division hates you, and they all want to win the division, So you don't get a week off really, and I mean maybe when you play Cleveland, but like that's only because there's a bad team in the AFC North, But that's where there's no bad teams in your own division. It'd be nice if some team in our division would suck, like
The Giants. We got the Giants too.
There we go. So
Cleveland or the Giants. We have 2 games that are not going to be tough.
Right? Yeah. Well, maybe you get to break up the snap counts a little bit or something. But yeah, I think this season is currently shaping up well for the Lions, and there's just a couple of question marks that we have, and like I don't know that those question marks are that big of a deal, like in compared to some of the other question marks that teams typically face, like who's my quarterback, or do we have enough talent? Like our question is like, who's going to be our starting center, and like what's the rotation at 3 tech going to be, and I'm like those seem like tiers, C tier level questions,
right,
to me, as opposed to like, we've got a rookie starting at quarterback, or something like that. So I'm really high, and like what you talked about. I'm not just high on like drugs, but like high on like hope, And so like, and the reason why is that like, when you're talking like, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be split out wide, and like I'm like, oh well, that's who's guarding that, that's just the kind of wrinkle that you put in that can like make the same guys that you had on offense look completely different. So yeah, if he's a weapon and worth the 12th pick in the draft, which he almost is, just splitting carries in the backfield, like having him on the field with Montgomery, oh dude, I am so ready. Let's go.
So we'll close with, as you're talking about this, we'll close with the thought of, all right, what if they split carries in the backfield, right? But the other half of that he's split out. So Jahmyr Gibbs is on the field 75% of the offensive snap, either as the featured back or split out.
I think that's a lot for him to do,
because there's blocking and those kinds of, that's a lot of,
well, just like even if he's out there for the snaps, that's like, we're going to split you out, then we're going to hand the ball off to Montgomery, like just being out there and like running the route, or getting involved in the blocking, which he'll do.
Yep, especially the blocking side.
Yep, and his workload would go up. Like his snap count could increase pretty significantly, and like he's just being played. I mean, he's being played at a position that sees high snap counts, lots of wear and tear. I would be concerned about it. However, like the NFL has shown that, like, unless you're unbelievably special, Derrick Henry, like the NFL is just going to chew you up and spit you out at this position group, and like I'll chew them up. I mean, like if it means us getting to the playoffs or winning the Super Bowl, yeah, I'll chew up Jahmyr Gibbs and put him out there for like a shit ton of snaps and ask him to do a ton of stuff, like the grit and like run through a wall stuff that like everyone in Detroit talks about. Like, I mean, that's what's going to make him a superstar in the NFL. Like not just like a really nice player from an up and coming team, but like he's your number 1 pick in fantasy. Like he's selling jerseys in like Florida and California and that kind of stuff. Like he, the eye popping plays, like the electricity that he can bring. Like he has the ability to be almost as exciting as somebody like a Barry Sanders in the city of Detroit, albeit doing it a little bit differently. But like, if he can just bring that kind of matchup, like chess piece style to this offense, if he is up to that degree, because it was already hard. Like you just put Monty or him in the backfield with like run an 11 personnel or whatever, then like that was hard for other teams to deal with. Like you showed us, like we averaged 32 points a game last season.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
crazy.
If you take the worst player, Tim Patrick, off that field and put him on more, the offense is just better. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. It'll be fun to watch. It gives us a little bit more dynamism, and it's probably going to be one of those things that may set the new OC apart from Ben Johnson. Right? He can't just do the same old, same old. I do like my trick plays, and I think they've got a place. But they are also a little bit riskier and higher risk, higher reward a lot of times. But sometimes I think we maybe ran more than we should have, or at times that were less than ideal. So this gives him an opportunity to do things a little bit different without risking the biscuit.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, if to be honest, dude, I am all like, let's get the season started now, because like I cannot wait to have them both line up in the backfield and have them split out Gibbs.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, this is what this play looks like, and we're going to run it. Oh, and this is what this play looks like, and we're going to throw it to St. Brown. Oh, this is what this play looks like, and now we're going to have JMO block for Gibbs on like a quick out, or something like that. Or we're going to run JMO out of. I mean, like, oh my god, it just
so many options,
so much fun, dude. Like, this offense has to be just like an analytics nerd's like dream to like watch.
Yes. It's kind of I think it can be the greatest show on turf 2.0.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Marshall Faulk was so much fun to watch, and you had Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. They were so dominant, and they could just do damn near anything. And I think this is one of those things that you could, because Marshall Faulk could catch it out of the backfield as well when it was less trendy for running backs to do that. They were just a ton of fun to watch. They won the Super Bowl, so I wouldn't mind having 2.0 on the field in Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
all right. Well, let's call it for tonight. I'd hate to do so much of this summertime content since there's so much going on. We'll have to save some for next week. But we'll catch everybody next week, speaking of which.
Yeah, and for Hatters, who was the only guy in chat today, Hatters, next week we will start off with a mock draft. Okay? We'll do one mock. We're just trying to learn names and like theory craft a little bit, but we'll do that, okay? So
love it.
Yeah. So if you like them, tune in next week.
Sounds good. Tune in next week anyway, even if you don't like it.
Yeah. Do that. Mike's the ultimate salesman. He knows. So
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We will talk to you later. See you next Tuesday. Peace.
See you guys.